What's the worst thing that ever happened at your school? The popular girl turned into an emo girl literally over the weekend. It was Mean Girls levels of chaos that week. It was amazing. Maybe she did a teen magazine quiz, and it said you emo. We had a shooting on Valentine's Day. No one actually was hit by the bullets, but that shit was so scary. The authorities herded us all onto the field and forced us to stand in single file lines of 50. They made us all hold our arms out, basically in a T-pose, so they could count our hands and make sure we were all unarmed. They loaded most of the kids on buses and took them to our city event center. I was one of the few with a car and a driver's license, so I was searched again and released to drive home. Somebody at my school posted pictures on social media of the running water, which was yellow. She then got suspended for it. The story made local news, then it got posted to YouTube, and now the video has over 5 million views. What was the reason for the suspension? Unless it had something to do with having her phone out, it doesn't make any sense. My bad, I left out an important detail. The photo was taken in the bathroom, and taking photos in the bathroom is against the school's policy. Still a bullshit reason why though. Kid plastered his brains all over a bathroom stall via handgun. A girl got shat on while unconscious, and then a picture was taken of her and sent around to everyone. Not even kidding. This wasn't technically at school, but a party. Water guns filled with piss. It was a great school but had a heroin ring go through it the year after I graduated. Also 2 graduates became mass shooters. 2? Wow, that's scary. Yes. Sully Field Police Station shooting and Virginia Tech. Some kid put a grenade in a trash can and we had the school evacuated. Helicopters. Police. Bomb squad etc etc. We were all outside on the field for a while just waiting, and things got resolved eventually. I heard it was just a toy grenade that somebody saw in the trash can and reported, which makes more sense because IDK how a high schooler would get a real grenade. I'm glad school shootings and things like that aren't a thing in Sweden, because getting a hold of a live grenade isn't that hard, and they're like $3.5 each. This was 3 years ago, when I was in the 10th grade. There was this kid from another classroom, also from the same grade, who got robbed and murdered. He was found in the shortcut he always took when going to school. Everyone in the school felt sad about it. Some of his class teachers cried, and a moment of silence was held when he was about to be buried. His family wanted justice, so did his classmates. An investigation was held and they caught the killer, though I wasn't informed about it until a year later. Turns out the killer was his own classmate, who also used to bully him. Apparently he wanted money from him but he refused, so he killed him, took his money and left him. He was later caught, but because the killer was still 17, the police put him in a detention center instead. I couldn't imagine how the kid's classroom teacher felt when he found out his student was killed by another one of his. One of my friends told a teacher that I and a few other people were bullying her. Meanwhile, I was her only friend and the only one nice to her. I actually defended her when some kids started picking on her, and that teacher started basically harassing me. I was 10 or 11 at the time. Shortly after these accusations, my friend changed schools. No explanation. Nothing. A year later she tried to contact me. After that I blocked her. While this was happening, another girl I thought was my best friend threw me under the bus when the teacher started accusing her too. She had been kinda mean to the other girl, and of course everyone believed her, because she is petite and cute and couldn't harm anyone, and I got labeled as the bully. I don't know why the friend did it, but I think it was for attention. She had like 6 or 7 siblings and their parents didn't really care about her. On the bright side, I realized my then best friend was backstabber. Years ago, a young girl in my high school killed herself after being immensely bullied through social media. That's another reason to hate social media even more. Yeah, I already hate it enough as it is, but this makes me hate it more. During my freshman year of high school, the marching band went to a nearby town to perform in a parade. Because of how hot it was, they had us change out of our uniforms immediately after. They parked our buses in a triangle shape to give us a private area to change. While the girls were changing, the percussion instructor caught a security guard trying to peep on them, and probably would have killed the guy had our director, the instructor's wife, and other security guards not held him back. Another time before I went there, the band was coming back from a victory against a school district infamous for its shitty students. When students from said district had gotten to our school before them and threw bricks through the bus windows, the same percussion instructor and assistant director ended up chasing them down and catching them before the police showed up. Last year this happened, so I remember it good. It was around 12:45. I was in my intro to foods class, working on a paper assignment. We heard a loud beep, then followed "This is not a drill. Evacuate the school." My heart raced. I had my jacket on luckily. I grabbed my phone, my backpack, and I ran out the school with the other 1,000 people in my school. I was scared, but my friends were there to comfort me. I found out there was a bomb threat called from a foreign number. Despite living in the capital of my state, we didn't have bomb scanning technology and it took 2 hours to get it here. Half an hour to scan the school, and it was clean. Still haunts me. Second one called the next day, but it only took 30 minutes because the stuff was still here. For April Fools, some kids at my high school brought 3 chickens and let them loose. Typical prank. Here is the twist. They put the numbers 1, 2 and 4 on the 3 chickens. The staff never found the phantom chicken. It has become the myth of legend. Okay, but that number thing is genius. My primary school had to be locked down for 1 hour because a former student broke into school grounds wielding a knife. I remember having to pull down the blinds and sit in silence for 1 hour before the cops came and took him away. One time when I was in elementary school, we were lining up after break waiting to back into class when the resident widow of my year walks up to me and grabs my junk whilst maintaining eye contact, before walking off with no explanation. I was confused, and after looking at my friend in the other line, he was too. I don't think the teachers did anything about it, even though I'm pretty sure I heard them talking about it, and they certainly didn't tell my dad, which they probably should have. At the time I didn't think much of it apart from that was weird, but later on I realized that I'm pretty sure that constitutes sexual harassment. 2 things. My year group apparently made a softcore corner, or it was the year or 2 above mine. Girls' school. Other thing was there were girls that apparently rode shopping trolleys down the closest highway. I was in year 9. Not sure what that equates to in the US, and we had a lad hang himself. The worst thing is that everyone that used to bully him ended up being the ones making the biggest fuss. I'm assuming it's because of a guilty conscience, and somehow I was the bad guy for pointing it out. I never really spoke to him, but we always chatted in passing. Then there was the teacher infidelity. Weird old guy in the field watching kids in pay. Kid getting expelled for watching porn in class. Same kid throwing concrete slabs over the fence into the neighboring house's greenhouse, and the poor Muslim supply teacher that has a ham sandwich belted at his face. Fun times. When there was snow, the older classes would try to hunt me down. I was a good runner, so I almost always were able to run from them. But the worst experience was a math teacher in 1st grade who said that I was simple so stupid. I cried and luckily he apologized. Why would they hunt you down? I looked so provoking when I was 15 and under. I had freckles, and a big head, and the guys in the older classes bullied me. When I was in 6th grade, a bunch of people started popping chip bags to piss off the lunch supervisors. We lost chips until the end of winter break. Might not be the worst thing to happen, but we had 2 nuns in our school. Some lad decided to stone cold stunner one of them. He got expelled. Don't trust a rattlesnake. Watch out, watch out, watch out, boom. My school was on the local news for kids being able to access porn, yet they couldn't access YouTube educational videos. I've graduated years before this and knew the problem wasn't the school's firewall, but an old VPN that during my time was uploaded from the school's shared files to almost every thumb drive. Though the original program was removed from the shared drive, the students obviously still had copies of it. When I was 14, a guy that was 18 got arrested because he was a wanted drug dealer. Apparently there was a big dealer on his family that got him into it. That's the version everyone tells nowadays anyway, and I can't remember ever hearing another, so I take it as true. And he had been taking part on the criminal organization that was bringing cocaine from Colombia into our country. They found around 20 kilograms of cocaine and a shitload of money on his family's basement. Guy got 10 years, the rest of his family got busted too, but I have no clue how much they got, but will probably get out on parole next year. Kid pepper sprayed a vent and gassed our whole school, had to evacuate into the cold rain. Tactical innovation. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.